Welcome to Grapes and Debates, a podcast where we'll uncork some incredible wine and debate varietals of issues within the restaurant industry, one glass at a time. And now, your hosts and owners of SoNapa Grille, Adam Barringer, Chris Botting, and Joe Bates.
Episode 56 of Grapes and Debates.
Where does the time go?
Where does it go?
I don't know.
Yeah.
That's my age.
Do you know that we
Episode
have
56.
Is it? Okay, yeah. We have literally consumed wine 56 weeks in a row. Every Wednesday.
Yeah.
Sometimes 10 in the morning.
Yeah, well, that's when your palate is at its optimum. It's 10 a.m.
Right?
Yeah.
So we have two special guests with us. Well, first of all, Joe Bates, my business partner, Adam Barringer, founder of SoNapa Grille. Our two guests today are with The Calling Vineyard.
Yes.
So we have Voradet, we'll say V,
That's right.
and Rainy,
Yes.
who you guys have just really both started with The Calling, right?
We really have,
Yeah.
But I've been in the industry a long time, but definitely our calling has been towards this wine.
Oh,
I
I see
like
what you did there.
like that. I
see
that.
what you did there.
And you were with Trinchero for 15 years, and
yeah,
then
great
recently
company
Campari.
Uh-huh.
So you worked with Sean Noble, and then Ben.
Yep.
Ben and Ben.
I love the Ben.
Oh, yeah?
Just
Ben
talked
and
to
Ben?
him last night.
Awesome.
We've had them on before.
Yeah.
Oh, have we?
So,
yeah,
very cool.
Yeah. And V,
Yes,
you were Constellation.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Correct. For
Yep.
7 years.
7 years.
So
And you called on us down in New Smyrna,
Right,
and yeah. So we're glad to try these. Well, I know we tried these wines the other day, but I thought, man, how awesome would it be to bring these wines on? Let's taste them again.
Yeah.
And I, told you guys, I think the wines are so good after we tasted last week. I wanted to revisit them because I see that these as a placement for our feature board to be on the menu, and also wine club members.
Okay.
This could be something that look for in May. So,
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
yeah. And I know that we have a couple.
Well, I'm not familiar with the brand at all,
yeah.
so
Okay.
I've never tried
Well-
these. So I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, so this is what we're going to do. One, we're going to get some wine in our glasses because we start every Grapes and Debates
With grapes.
With grapes.
Yes.
And then we'll just debate how good this wine is.
Yeah.
Like
I
that.
mean, is this good shit or not?
We're gonna find out.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, is that today's debate?
I just came up with that.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah. See,
Let's debate.
Let's do
the
it.
drink.
synapses are always firing with you.
So
Yeah.
should I give you a little
Yeah,
story
please.
on how the calling started?
Yeah.
So
Oh, no, let's
we'll
get
wait
the,
till it's
yeah,
all
yeah,
done.
yeah.
Yeah, we'll debate that in a moment.
I'll bring it
Or,
around.
we could debate, is it easier to open a bottle of wine not on camera or on camera?
I think we should try both. Since this one was open already,
I agree.
we've only
I
got one
agree.
way to go, V.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We'll wait a moment for that, though. We have some debating to do. in the
V, I'll
meantime.
pass it down.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
So yeah, again, I'm not familiar with the calling at all. So what can you tell me about it?
Well, the brand started, Peter Deutsch, who is the CEO of Deutsch Family Wine and Spirits, started this brand. He had read a book from Jim Nance called that was paying tribute to Jim Nance's father with all along the way, and it was a tribute to his dad. Peter had read the book, and just very fortuitous, Jim Nance happened to be up in Connecticut, and Peter saw him at the restaurant just a couple weeks after he had finished it, and he went over and said, "Hey, I loved your book. It really made me think about my dad." And Jim said, "Well, I love your industry. I've always had this ambition to get into the wine industry." And so at that little point in time is when they collaborated to start the brand. That was around 2009, first vintage in 2012.
Okay.
And they made enough wine that they sold just enough wine. They sold out in 10 months and figured, hey, we have something here.
Okay.
And it was Sonoma designated wines, and that's kind of where they wanted to keep leaning in.
Jim Nance, the voice of the Masters.
Exactly.
Right?
Wow,
So
look at
hearing them
you.
over,
Yeah.
Look at this.
CBS Sports legend,
right.
icon.
Huh?
Yeah,
Isn't the Masters coming up?
yeah, right
week?
now.
Oh, that's what I thought.
Yeah, this week
practice
it's
rounds
Masters
and
week.
everything.
Yeah,
It's
so
getting rained
So-
out a little bit.
so Jim Nance is a part of this.
Yes.
Correct.
Okay. Now, initially, I love the nice color on this, right? It's not over It's not too yellow. I mean, it's
Yep.
it's just a beautiful. I'm trying to think like a beautiful color of hay.
Yeah, it's just straw.
Yeah,
very nice
straw. And
So I think something to really highlight on this one, Adam Joe, is the winemaker for the calling.
Okay.
You know?
Okay.
So I think it's really important that we know, and we talk about James McPhail. So he's started in the mid '90s, where his father actually, it's kind of full circle, and the last one, which we'll taste, is kind of we'll kind of go in full circle with this too. So his father encouraged him to get into the wine business. So back in mid '90s, he started making wines under some really renowned winemakers out of Sonoma.
Okay.
And since 2012 has had 190 plus point wines to date.
Wow.
So just with the calling alone, has had 70
70
plus
plus.
points.
Wow.
70 plus wines, 90 plus points.
so
That's fantastic.
I'm getting it's creamy. I'm getting hints of vanilla and maybe a little bit of butterscotch. I don't know. That's just what I'm picking up. Getting not too much malolactic fermentation. I find that this is so well balanced. This is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's drinking great right now, and it's got a good amount of body, but it's not coating butterball.
Yes.
You know,
Still some acidity to
Yeah,
it.
still
Yeah.
some acidity to it. Exactly.
It's not like you're chewing on an oak branch.
yeah,
Right,
yeah,
right.
dipped in margarine. Yeah, yeah. No, this is
Margarine?
butter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, this is yeah. That used to be my breakfast bowl. The big park.
No, this
it's
is really
fantastic
good.
Chardonnay.
And Wine Inspector thought the same. This wine, the Dutton Ranch Chardonnay, was actually Wine Inspector top 100 wines.
Okay.
So it's
93 points.
Okay.
In this past
This is
2024.
2022.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yes.
vintage back.
Yeah.
And we had an item on our menu. You like this story. So I was researching apple farms in Sonoma, Napa, and I found Dutton Ranch.
Exactly.
So
Yep.
we had the name Dutton Ranch as our Dutton Ranch apple chicken salad. Literally, and this is probably 8 years ago. This couple came in and said, "Oh my God, you know people we know out in wine country." I'm like, "Really? Who's that?" "Oh yes, Steve and Teresa Dutton." I'm like, no, I don't know. Well, we've already called them to let them know.
You're serving Dutton apples.
And but it led us to visit Dutton Ranch with the Gravestine apples, and we got to meet Steve and Teresa, and they have 1,200 acres in Sonoma. It
that's
was
neat.
so cool. It was just a really amazing time, and for us to be able to support them, would be awesome.
That's neat.
It is.
Yeah, that's drinking fantastic.
Man, this is fun to drink with you guys.
And so the
on air.
winemaker, has he been there for every vintage?
He's been there for the majority of it.
Okay.
Yes.
Not at the initiation of the brand.
Okay.
But then he's been took over the winemaking quite a while back.
Okay.
And has
Okay.
been involved.
All right, what do we got next?
So we have up next we have the Russian River Pinot.
Okay.
This is the current vintage. This is the 2022. I'm gonna pass it down. Right? My arms are a little short.
Oh,
I know what you mean, B. There you are, my friend.
you poured me almost a full
I
glass
did,
of
I
that
didn't
Chard.
mean, I
I'm
didn't
like,
mean to. I didn't mean to. I got nervous.
Okay. Wow. This
Russian
is
River
like,
Valley.
Yes.
Yep. Oh, you got to give V some.
Oh, yes.
Joe?
I'm sorry, B.
That's okay.
He was
Thank you.
polite. He
So-
was
I apologize.
That's quite all right.
Wow. I mean, I am picking up just ripe raspberry, ripe
Yes,
berry,
definitely
right on the
fruit.
nose. So the first sight, it's just light. This is almost a perfect looking Pinot Noir as I look at it. And then the swirl and smell, I mean,
What makes Russian River Valley so special for Pinot Noir?
It's great for Chardonnay and Pinot Noir,
Okay.
and it is basically the river basin and kind of the
cool influence that comes in.
exactly.
Okay.
Yep.
And and Chardonnay can grow a whole lot of places. Pinot Noir is very fickle grape, and so there's really very few places where it grows real well. The skin is real light, so it can get damaged if it's in too much of a climate area.
So it doesn't like an extreme heat.
No,
It gets
it doesn't.
sunburned.
So that's
if you
why
will,
Carneros,
Yeah.
Yep.
Russian River.
So got that again, that Pacific influence,
Right.
keeping it cool
Yep.
longer. So
There you go, Joe.
Okay.
Yeah. Also along Sonoma Coast, you'll get some nice Pinots along Sonoma
coastal
Coast.
influence there.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
This is fantastic.
Well, yeah, I mean, just
For-
looking at it, it screams
for a
Pinot
Pinot.
Noir.
Yeah.
This
Not
is,
your favorite varietal.
I say
You've
that
made it for 56th episode. You've been crystal clear.
crystal clear. It's
Pinot Noir is
my
not your
least favorite.
least favorite varietal.
Now, I will say this: of all 56 episodes that we've had, we don't drink Pinot Noirs that often.
No?
This is in the top Pinot Noirs that I've tasted.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Hands down.
I'll tell you, a lot of Pinot Noirs this day have gotten too sweet.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
have too much additives to them, and this is truly, what James likes to do, and he is a Pinot guru.
Okay.
That's kind of
Pinot
what
and
his,
Chard, that's
yeah.
his wheelhouse.
But just really minimal influence, let the fruit speak for it, and not adding all the junk that can be added.
As a novice, I almost want to say it's, and this is not to be detrimental at all, but it's like Kool-Aid in the glass. It's just, but it's not overly sweet. It's just
right.
bright. I
Yeah,
guess.
that's it.
Yes.
It's
Exactly.
super bright as soon as it hits my palate, and
I could
yeah.
drink this. It's,
Yeah.
and I typically don't.
And you like big tannins on the end and big,
do,
big
but this
bold
was-
cabs, but yeah,
This is
a,
it's almost a perfectly balanced Pinot Noir.
yeah, I love it.
Yep.
Yeah, we like it because it's not overly extracted. It's not extracted at all.
Right.
Some winemakers will try to generate an extra case or two or three or,
Right.
or a few. But, this is what I like the style of what James McPhail does. with
So
his
overly
wines.
extracted, you're just saying pressing the
Exactly.
shit out of it, if you
Exactly.
will, getting every
drop.
So these are probably
So,
a light press,
Right.
and
And then let it sit. They do a 5 to 7 day cold soak, so
Okay.
the caps get up there at the top, and then they punch it down so they get the flavor out of it, but not too much longer,
Yeah.
where they're just milking the shit out of
Yeah.
everything that's left in
Right.
there. Get that
Nice.
influence, get the skin color, get the color right, not
Yeah.
too dark, but also there, and then moving on.
does this sea oak? Or
Yes, it does.
Is his
Yes.
son? Yes.
Yes, it does.
Yep.
Okay.
It's 11 months.
Okay. Wow.
So only about 30% new French oak, and
I was
the
gonna
rest
say,
is second or
yeah.
multiple use, so you don't get the over impact of what oak can do.
Well, and with Pinot, it can take it over.
It could,
Right.
absolutely.
So,
Yeah.
I'm not going to pour mine out.
Well,
You don't have
That's
to.
good.
Yeah, and
You
we
don't
have
have to.
time because V might fumble around with opening this next bottle of wine.
Well, I'll tell you what. Oh, you just have the one to open, or you
I
can
know
open.
this.
No,
Well, I'll have to open both of them. So this
Okay.
one, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you want me to
Where
show
do you wanna go
how-
next?
I mean, I'd be glad to open.
Yeah.
The first bottle that I opened, I fucked it up. I mean, I really did, but I've gotten better at it.
Yeah.
Well, now, I mean,
elbows start flying.
And see, you have a head start on that one because the foil's already gone.
Yeah,
We
Sorry, I
Corvined this
cheated.
one earlier
Right.
today. So.
I've seen Adam pull a cork out with a Phillips head screw and a drill.
wow.
What else do you use?
Well,
Right.
right. Yeah. No, it's when we were
You
under
guys are
construction.
fancy. I know it was one of those fancy podcasts.
right.
Man, I got to say that was a really
So
nice.
now, do you guys just represent the calling? So you're working directly for them now, or
We work for Deutsch Family Wine
Deutsch
and Spirits.
okay.
Yeah, so they have a pretty nice.
and this is part of their portfolio?
Yes.
Okay, understood.
Yeah.
Understood.
And that
Have you had
is
an
how
opportunity to
you
visit the
open
property?
No,
a bottle of
so we
wine.
don't actually have like a hospitality center for this brand.
Okay.
But it is something that I think is in the mix.
Are they growing these grapes, or are they buying these
This is
grapes, or a
sourced
little bit
from
of?
like the Duttons.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
So they've got these long-term.
Joe, which I mean,
They can go right there.
no, you said you weren't
I
done.
lied.
Which one is it? Are you?
Rainy started talking.
No, it gets in my way, my mouth.
So with that, when you to add on to what you're asking
Yeah.
about sourcing, so James McPhail, being that he's from Sonoma
Yeah.
area, has such a great relationship with a lot of the growers there. So we have first access, kind of like the Duttons.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right, so first right of refusal to a lot of the grapes and a lot of the vineyards that he wants to make the wines from. So,
Okay.
which gives us the upper hand to where, a lot of these wines, they over-deliver for what it costs. This is what I love about the wines from Deutsch Family Wines and Spirits, just because it does that.
Okay.
Because we're not what is it called? I mean, it's not like a big corporate, like a big,
Yeah,
you know.
we're still a family-owned company.
Oh, family, okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Awesome.
So,
Awesome. So the Calling, Cabernet, Alexander Valley, let me see what else. It's 2020,
Yes.
Cabernet, Alexander Valley. So that means 75% of the grapes are Cab. Is it 100% Cab or is
This
it?
is
Is
100%.
it 100%
no, wait,
Cab?
this one, no, I'm sorry. This one is 100%. That
Okay.
one is
The one's what?
93.
93, okay.
6 Petit Verdot,
Okay.
and 1% Malbec.
And if it says
So this
Alexander
one,
Valley,
yes.
then it means 85% of the grapes come from Alexander Valley,
Correct.
one of the great growing regions for Cabernet
Yes.
And Sonoma.
in Sonoma,
Yeah.
Right.
arguably in the world. But
Correct.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So is who do the Napa guys? Is there like an East Coast West Coast sort of Napa Sonoma?
Not as much.
Like throwing gang signs like
Yeah.
Sonoma rules, Napa
And
rules.
Sonoma likes
My grapes are
Tupac a
better.
little bit more, and Napa likes Biggie.
Like
but there's
Tupac and
not-
Biggie,
yeah,
right?
Right,
now.
right.
So Sonoma Napa.
Now, it's funny, I mean, just in that agricultural economy, a lot of the guys and gals root for each other just to win,
They
to
do.
bring the industry up.
Bring the entire
Yeah.
industry, yes.
So, and much like, and that's the cool thing with bringing in James McPhail and growers like the Dutton family, they like to work with winemakers that they know and they have the relationships. And, you know, yes, there's long-term contracts, but on a lot of these things, and as we taste the tribute, there's some handshake agreements on, you know, you're going to pay us for the grapes, and we're going to let you have first right of refusal for these different plots.
It's
So-
really those punk asses in Paso that they're keeping their eyes on right now, right?
Yes, they are.
It's like NWA.
Yeah.
right?
Well, they're more like the new age Drake and all
Really?
this, all this
Right.
fake rap,
Right.
not the old gangster
Right,
stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's not the Cypress Hill gang.
Exactly.
Right?
I mean, yeah,
Where
we'll
you-
bust you in the face. You're gonna put some kind of filter.
Joe, we
underneath.
gotta dial it back in. We gotta dial it in.
Sorry.
Rainey and I were just riffing. That's all. We were just riffing.
Okay.
So Alexander Valley Cab.
Yes.
This is again, I go back to sight. Beautiful color on this. You know that it's a little bit of a younger wine. Just looks vibrant. I mean,
Yes.
the colors on that.
There's no orange on the outside of the rings. It is so vibrant, yet tannin structure is there.
Okay.
It'll pucker you a little bit, but in a beautiful way.
Right, and I do get, again, I'm getting fresh, ripe fruit, and then also with a hint of tobacco on it, and, man, this is good.
Yeah, it's
I almost feel like there's a spearmint or like something, just a tartness. That it's balanced with the tannin, but there's a tartness that my palate is.
Yeah.
Not
I
as-
can see what you're saying. It might just be what
Yeah,
your tongue
like a-
is
like a
doing
mint or
Yeah.
something.
with those tannins, where it's kind of.
Or maybe that's more of an herbaceous sort of thing that I'm
No,
getting.
I think I understand what
Yeah.
you're getting. I'm not sure
Same
that it's
here.
a mint, but I think that's more of that fresh fruit kind of.
Yeah.
Ripe
It's
fruit.
drinking great right now.
yeah,
Right?
18 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Each. 18 months.
And
it's
I
not
imagine.
a tannin bomb. I mean, it's the
No,
tannins
no, I
match,
don't
know.
The tannins
Yes.
match the fruit.
Yes.
Exactly.
Right, so
ahead.
you have the fruit
Driving. The
driving
bus.
and
But the tannins are in the front seat of the bus. They're
yeah,
not all the way in the
no,
back.
it's not. It's not unless it's a bus. Maybe
Yeah.
it's a bench seat truck. So you have
Oh, so the fruit's got his arm around.
around
his-
like yeah. Here's tannin. Okay, yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see.
Perfect harmony.
Yeah. Perfect harmony.
For sure.
Yeah.
But this is good, and what I'd be willing to bet as this opens up and kind of just gets a little bit more air, breathes a little bit more, I think it's going to open up even more beautifully.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it's shown to do, for sure, Adam. That's exactly what it does.
Yeah.
So this is, we just opened this bottle just now, but we've, I've taken this, not this particular bottle, but previous bottles, to where we've opened it and let it, taste the next account, the next buyer, and from the third buyer, it's like, okay, now this is really showing like really, really nicely.
Yeah.
So,
So last week we tried 3 different red Zinfandels. 2 of them were from Sonoma, 1 from Napa. And I went in order 1, 2, 3, Napa, Sonoma, and Joe.
I think I fucked that one up.
Well, you picked 3, 2, 1. So we were exactly opposite.
Yeah.
The point is, then we were 30 minutes into it. At the end of the 30 minutes, when I retasted number one, it had opened up even more, and he refused to change back to 1, 2, 3, and he said he
How am
wasn't
I
going to
give
do
you the
it.
sathsatisfaction of being right? So
You both agreed on 2, though.
We did.
We did. 3, 2, 1,
Sagacio
1, 2,
Red
3.
Zin,
We
which
did.
they're known for.
Wonderful Zins.
And so I picked number one was Oakville Winery by Ghost Block out of Napa, and then so it was Oakville, Sagacio, and Sinzin by Alexander Valley Vineyards, Alexander Valley, and Joe picked Sinzin, Sagacio, and then Oakville. Yeah.
and then 30 minutes.
Hello, SoNapa members of our Grapevine newsletter, loyalty rewards, and our wine club members. Adam Barringer here, and this Member Monday just got even better. This week only, members can enjoy our full happy hour menu all night long. And mention TGIM, and you'll get a bottle of Austin Hope Cabernet for just $30. That's right, less than wholesale prices. Don't miss it. See you Monday night at SoNapa.
Later, the Oakville was better, but I just wasn't going to admit it. So overall production for the calling, kind of medium, small, would it be considered a small production?
I'd say that's small to medium. kinda-
Boutique-ish, or not quite that small?
Not
quite
that
that
small.
Yeah, okay.
Probably
Yeah.
more leaning more towards the medium.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Except
So,
you know.
So I was in New Smyrna out the other day and there's this little wine bar, Rogue Wave Wine Bar.
Yeah.
And this guy Nate came on our podcast the other day, just opened it, or he just opened the Rogue Wave Wine Bar, and I'm looking at the menu, and it had the Calling, Cabernet, Alexander Valley, which I probably wouldn't have ordered it, except we had tried it, and I realized how good it was, and I had a bottle there.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
So you got support from
Yeah.
Nate at
Thanks,
the
Nate.
Rogue Wave Wine Bar.
Yes.
So no tasting room at this point, no hospitality
Correct.
area
Yep.
yet.
Yet.
All the
but
money
maybe-
goes into the bottles.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
All right, V,
Fantastic, all
All
right.
right. Thank you.
let's see what you got. Let's see your,
Can we zoom in on this?
we
Just
got,
right on-
yep.
I'll pretend like I'm cutting the foil.
Yeah, okay, sure.
So
All right.
yes. So this was my background. Actually, hospitality was my background. So I
Okay.
was in the restaurant business since '98.
Okay.
So I started when I was like 3. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I get that, I get
yeah.
that.
Okay, we pretend, okay, you just got the
Yes.
foil
Okay.
off. In fact, you can borrow my foil if
Yeah,
you
thank
want.
So this is pretty new to us. I mean, they just this is the first or second vintage, I want to say.
Okay.
Right. This is our tribute.
Okay.
So kind of full circle to what we spoke about. James McPhail, he and his father have a very close tie as well as Jim Nance and his father.
What did you just do?
And then Jim and Peter and Bill Deutsch.
Okay.
So, with Deutsch Family Wines and Spirits. So this one is a tribute to their father.
Okay.
Basically, hence our tribute. So,
No, I love that.
Actually, you did a better job than I did. There was no pop at the end. That was really,
well, I got lucky.
Yeah.
On that one, yes.
So 100% Cabernet here.
27 months.
27
Okay.
months.
27
Wow.
months.
This is from the Moon
Mountain
Mountain
District.
District,
Oh, okay.
which is the very far east side
Is that
of...
a new-ish appellation? Moon Mountain?
I think it is a newer.
it's a newer AVA.
Yes.
And I will tell
Yes.
you that probably 3 months ago, we featured 3 wines from Moon Mountain.
Okay.
And just an interesting story about those. But yeah, it's higher elevation, so.
Yep. Yeah, far east side of Sonoma, so it's on the Mayakama Mountains, which is the border between Sonoma and Napa.
Correct.
And then, like Adam was saying, I think it's about 17,000 acres, but only about 1,500 are planted for wine.
Okay.
So, kind of a treacherous soil at times, but this
Okay,
is...
so I'm just going to say this because this could have a little taint to it. unless it's just me.
We'll give it a second.
It
I
does.
see what you're saying. Yeah.
It does. I'm just. In fact, we're just going to edit that whole part out.
Okay.
We will. We will.
Thank you.
All right, okay.
So
I'm going to go back.
I was
to this.
excited
now,
about
do they
this.
have so?
No,
well,
you
they
know
don't
what?
have
I would tell you,
hospitality
it was barely corked, just a hint, but it was enough for me to say
right.
it's not 100% right. So I'm going to go back to the cab. What do you want to revisit?
I'll revisit I'll revisit the Pinot Noir.
I knew that. That was.
Did you? Did you? It was a great Pinot Noir.
Yeah.
Well,
So, 5-year
excited.
plan for these guys at the calling. Get bigger, hospitality house.
Yeah, I think first it's getting the production right so we can, maintain the quality of the wines,
Right.
but be able to
Scale.
Yeah, scale our production lines. Also, just distribution in the markets.
Right.
Okay.
And really developing the wines more so they become more of everyday wines, and but also continue to get the marks. From
And with all the awards, it sounds
Yeah.
like the quality's there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like the internal team is there.
yes.
So now it's up to you guys to
So-
spread the word.
What did you think? I mean, seriously. So we've tasted so many wines over the course of the time that we've been together, and especially over the last 56 weeks. We've been to Napa, we've been to Sonoma, we've tasted some great wines. How would you say these stack up?
I love them all. I mean, I thought the Chardonnay was not your prototypical Chardonnay, which I love. I love to see that Chardonnay houses and Chardonnays are moving away from those butter bombs that we've been talking about for 20 years. This is light, it's crisp, but it's got enough mouthfeel that I could pair it with some food or just sit by the pool and drink it. I thought the Pinot Noir was top notch. It screams in the glass, I am Pinot Noir. Pinot Noir. It's
How does
got-
it scream it?
It's screaming. Hey, I'm Pinot Noir. Come drink me. So I think if it's what you're looking for in a Pinot Noir, and
Right.
and I love the Alexander Valley Cab. So I'm not just blowing smoke.
No.
So
These were all
great drinkers.
fantastic.
Really. Go get a bottle. Where can the average buyer find these? Can they find them?
Maybe
at
Total Wine?
Total Wine.
Total
or-
Wine, yeah,
Yeah.
and then your local.
You're not going to see them at Publix, probably.
No,
Yeah.
not everywhere for sure. Your local wine
Okay.
shops and Total Wine does carry
Okay.
about everything under the sun.
Yeah,
You'll
and the
be-
Jim Nance
Yeah.
story kind of makes it cool,
Yeah,
especially
yeah.
for
Golf.
the golf fan. And yeah, I mean, he does a lot more than golf,
Right.
but
And you're going to be able to find them in May
in your bag.
at the SoNapa Wine Club.
Hey, now's the time to
Right,
join the
if
club.
you haven't joined,
Yeah.
you probably should before May.
Hashtag
Yes.
SoNapa Wine Club.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, hey, thank
Rainy
you
and I are
guys.
going to have to hang out a little bit
Yeah.
longer.
Oh yeah.
So,
Well,
guys, thank you so much.
so it took us
appreciate it, guys.
it took us a long time to really come up with what our slogan was for SoNapa Grille, and after looking at people getting together and sharing great times, I was always thinking, like, well, kind of like Outback, no rules, just right. Nike, just do it. What's SoNapa? Wine from California. I don't know. But as I looked in the dining rooms of our restaurant, I look at the bar, people are getting together, they're tasting, they're toasting. So it's taste toast together, guys.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you guys for sharing.
Thanks for coming here. Thanks
Pleasure.
for tasting us on these fantastic wines, and we really look forward to creating a partnership and bringing these wines in and sharing them with our guests.
Wow, I think you missed your calling.
No, I didn't.
Cheers.
Cheers.